All right, what's up, everybody? Spencer Sutton here, and I wanted to shoot this quick video to talk about fact maps. If you've requested this, I'm sending the PDF along with this short video just to kind of explain a little bit about what it is. And so this is setting up for a new year. You can use it for 2024. You could use it for a quarter, like you could do quarterly targets. The way I typically use this is create one for my entire year. So 2024, this is what it's going to be like. And then what I do is then I go, okay, what has to happen in Q1? If I want to achieve this, then what has to happen in Q1? And typically your major goal in 2024 should not be able to be completed in Q1 or Q2, right? This is something that is going to have to stretch you tremendously. And so I've even heard of I've got some buddies who do they'll do a reasonable target and then they'll do a radical target. And so if you look at 2024 and you say, hey, here's my reasonable target, but you know what? If I just really knock it out of the park, here's my radical target. And so real quickly, you can see what are the facts. So the first thing that we do in this is we just get crystal clear about where we currently are today. So what are the facts about? And then we go body, being, balance, and business. And so you can see each one of these domains, I call those the 4 domains. Each one of those domains have in it just some questions about, hey, questions about your body, height, weight, body fat. So I have an InBody machine at my gym. I'll go and get my InBody machine, so I'll know my body fat percentage, all of that. Fitness, function, fuel, like all of these things are important. And so once I answer all of that right here in this section. So I'm just writing out. What I do is I upload this PDF into my iPad, and I just use my iPad pencil and write it all out. You can print it out and write it. It doesn't really matter. What are the facts about my body? So I'm just being very brutally honest with myself. And then I go on, when you read the facts, what are your feelings? So I want to connect the facts with my feelings because feelings really tend to drive behavior. How I feel about something determines what I do about it. And so I want to get very, very clear about my feelings. Now, for me, I a lot of times have to go and pull up. There's an emotional chart that gives all of the types of feelings, and I'll pull some from them because it's just maybe harder, more difficult for me. So I do that. The current story I tell myself about my body, like, hey, what am I telling myself? What are the negative stories? Maybe what is a positive story I'm telling? What's at stake if I improve? So what's going to change if I improve? And then what happens if I stay the same or go backwards? So this fact mapping of these original facts is very, very powerful. And then you start to choose what are my top 4 body targets in 12 months. So what do I want to do? Now, some examples of this could be like I'm thinking, or in the past, I've done run a Spartan Ultra, which is 50 obstacles, 31 miles. And that set that as my 12-month target. And I went ahead and scheduled that in Dallas. I did that in, I think, 2021. So, or 22. Anyway, so it could be something like that. It could be compete in a competition. It could be run a certain number of miles. It could be increase your muscle mass or lift a certain. I have a buddy here in the office who like he wants to back squat 400 pounds or 395, something like that. Anyway, so he wants to back squat. Whatever the case is, it needs to be something that's a SMART goal or SMART target, right? So it's measurable, all those things that the SMART targets are. So come up with 4 of them. And then what happens? How will you feel when you hit those targets? What's the story you're going to have to tell yourself? And then you pick one of those, like just one, and say, that is my target. That's what I want to do. And so you like, boom, there it is. And then what happens is once you have that target, you start backing up into Q1 again and saying, what do I need to do this month or this quarter to start working my way to that 12-month target? And a lot of times, the first quarter is all about mindset and skill set. So what do you need to do? So that's body. All of these things are the same. So from there, you go into being. This is your spiritual relationship. And so you can like hear some questions to help you think about those things and you talk about them here. You set a target. Now, what are being targets? Because it's kind of like, well, it probably might depend on your religion, your spiritual beliefs. If you have spiritual beliefs, whatever the case is, they could be anything. Like, I've had targets like people, I'm going to read through the Bible an entire year. I'm going to start a spiritual journal, and I'm gonna log 250 journal entries. I've had just really different things. I've had people do giving goals, right? So I want to give a certain percentage of my income away. I've had targets that involved more of the family. So I'm going to have weekly devotions with my family or whatever the case is, or we're gonna attend church X amount of times or whatever that is for you. So anyway, so those tend to be the tougher ones just because it's very, very subjective, your spiritual journey. And so, but you go through the same process. Then balance is all about your spouse, partner, could be close family. If you have children, it's about your children. If you're single, it could just be about family relationships or other relationships that are important to you. So you don't have to be stuck in a box. So it's just being super honest about where you are with all of that. You walk through those questions, and then you set targets. And some of these targets that I've seen have been people saying, I want to set a target to buy a new house for my family, or we're going to redesign our backyard and do XYZ, whatever it would cost a lot of money. But let me see. Like I've got one that I'm finishing up this year, and it was for my daughter who's graduating high school. I am completing a journal, half of a journal for her. So I'm just writing her things, and I do it. I don't really have a scheduled time I do it. I probably will end up having 100 to 120 journal entries in there for her and leave the rest of it for her to fill out. But ultimately, those entries are just things that I never want her to forget or never want her to wonder what my dad thought about. And so that's one. I had friends that do. I had friends who have done gratitude journals for their spouse. So they literally um, just journaled things that they're thankful for hundreds of days, things they're thankful for their spouse, and then give it to them at Christmas or on their birthday or something special like that. So those are some ideas there. And then of course we get into the fun things about our business, right? So this is going to be if you're doing this and you don't own your business, then think about it from you can think about it from a personal finance standpoint. But if you're out there and you own a business, property management business, whatever the case is, obviously you want to think about it from there. And so here are the categories: product, production, planning, process, profit, and protection. So you want to think about each one of these, like leadership, you want to think about marketing, you want to think about delivery, execution, all of those things. This is not specific to property management, so you can turn it into that. And then you can talk about, your team, people on your team, and you just want to journal here about it and then or write here about it. And then you want to talk about like your negative stories and your positive stories about your business. What's at stake if you don't improve or if you do improve? And then you want to identify targets. So targets could be door related, targets could be it could be team member growth related, it could be revolving around your team, it could be a number of different things. It could be implementing a maintenance division of your business if that's something you've always thought you probably needed to do. It could be something related to that, and but give it like measurables. If just starting could be, hey, I go and hire a tech, but really you want to have the end game in mind. Where could it go to, or how could it grow? And so think about further down the road. Again, this is not something that you could accomplish in 3 months, but something you're going to need a bulk of that 12 months to accomplish. And that's it. So you go through all those, and that's it. That's the document. I hope that that has helped, and let me know if you have any questions. You have my email because you emailed me to get the fact map. So I'm sending you this video and the fact map. Have a good one. And I hope you all crush 2024.